What's up everybody, I'm Duncan Deep, and today is my quick first impressions of Triforce Heroes. I've been playing this game for a little while and I really enjoyed it. The footage in the background is one of the bosses, is the boss of the fortress, which is as far ahead in the game as I'm allowed to talk about for now. And you can actually see a bunch of discussion and other footage on Dan's channel, which I will link down below. This game is absolutely fantastic. It doesn't follow the standard Zelda formula, and there is actually very little overworld at all. There is one village as a hub world, and you actually teleport directly to the dungeons slash areas. I'm not sure I'd call them dungeons exactly, but they're very cool, and it's a bit of a departure from the standard Zelda formula, but it's still a fantastic game, and it still retains that Zelda spirit of exploration and puzzle solving. Another thing that's a bit of a depart from the standard Zelda formula is a much lesser focus on story. This game has very little story, breaking it down into about 3 cutscenes in the entire game. The opening cutscene, a cutscene that you will see here in the middle where you meet the lady again, and then a final cutscene at the end of the game, which I will not be discussing. But that is it for story. The story is very sparse because they wanted to focus on gameplay. This story, though, is a little campy and might turn off some Zelda fans, because a lot of Zelda fans are very into the, oh, stories have to be serious and stuff, not realizing that the early Zelda games were actually very sparse on story and allowed you to explore the story via gameplay just like this game does. This game has a huge amount of replayability in the fact that every dungeon has 4 challenges that you need to complete, the standard, and then 3 bonus challenges, as well as the fact that there are many worlds, each of which containing 4 dungeons. Not only that, but in a very Monster Hunter-esque way, you actually gather materials from completing the dungeons, which you use to create new outfits, which give you advantages in other dungeons. This means that you will be replaying the same challenge over and over just to try and get that super rare 1 in 3 item, and the desire sensor is strong in this game, and it reminded me of Monster Hunter's desire sensor in the fact that I wanted to pound my head against my wall at times, but I did end up picking up all the costumes I wanted to grab, and I'm going to try and get all of the costumes before release, so we'll have to see how that goes. When it comes to the downsides of this game, I think the #1 downside to mention is that it is not multi-region online. If you're in North America, you can only play with other people using North American devices, and the same applies to Europe and Japan. It's a ridiculous restriction, which is a massive failure on Nintendo's part, in my opinion. This is not a hardware issue, despite what any Nintendrones might be saying. This is definitely bad netcode, because a good example that I have already brought up in this quickie review, Monster Hunter, 4 players synced in an incredibly complex game with incredibly complex monsters, syncs perfectly across multiple regions. Zelda, 3 players, not 4, and much simpler. It's a top-down game, the monsters are much simpler, they don't have the same level of AI and movement, and it is not possible. If you want to see my opinions of this game in much more detail, I did a 30-minute podcast on Dan's channel, and you can go and check that out in the link down below. Alright then guys, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, you can click up here to see more videos of this type on my channel. If you want to check out something else a little bit different, then you can click down here. And if you want to see everything that I upload, you can click the subscribe button right here.